What if Birdman never left the nest? If there was no Tony Hawk, what would skateboarding look like? Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, a channel all about skateboarding, where I talk about anything I can discover in the skateboarding world. I like to review skateboarding media, I like to answer your questions, and anything else I can come up with. The first question of the day today is from Mr. Kipling, who says, longtime fan here, I have a more personal question. How is your mental health, and how do you deal with all the stress and negativity that life throws at you? My life has been a bit crappy lately. I just work, go to sleep, have nightmares about being at work, then wake up, have to go to work again. It sucks, and when I get free time, I'm too tired to do anything like go out and skate. Sucks because I need the money. Being alone with my skateboard at the skate park on some nice smooth flat concrete relieves me from some of the stress in life. Thanks, Rad Rat. I feel the same way often because, like, to me, I've been dealing with stuff where I just get extremely tired. Like, I have to just sit down and just do nothing. So, like, I'll work throughout the day. I'll work on average, like, I don't take a lunch, but I work an average time plus the lunch hour. So I work a little bit more than full time. Sometimes it's more than that. And then after work, I just collapse, you know? So for me to just have the energy, like if friends invite me to do anything, like, hey, we're going to play a board game, we're going to go to the theater, we're going to do this, it's really hard to, like, get myself to get up and go. For me, I'm not going to suggest that this is going to be it for you. Caffeine was actually a big problem. I had to stop completely. Because, like, it would get me through the day, but as soon as it was over, I had nothing. And I'm not talking like I'm tired. I'm talking like I stand up and I feel like I'm going to pass out, you know? So that is an issue. I also take ashwagandha. I think that's a really good thing to help you not be as stressed out. It's something, I mean, you can get it at the grocery store. We're not talking about anything weird like a pill or anything. But it does work for me. Having some kind of artistic outlet is helpful. Like, I like to draw pictures of me being killed by Batman and, like, superheroes and stuff. I don't know why. It just feels good. I think it's funny. So, like, if I've had a stressful day, it's like, well, at least this didn't happen. You know, like, I think that's something that's kind of going on in my mind. I enjoy doing that. And if you can find a way to make your hobbies feel like you have to do them, I think that's helpful. Like, if you have to accomplish this thing, like if I have to draw something because I'm going to send it to, you know, my brother's kids, like if I have to draw something because they're waiting on this thing that I promised I was going to do them, then I definitely have to do it. And that way it's like forces me to do something. And often if I'm really tired, really anxious, all that kind of stuff, if I end up doing the thing, I'm very rarely upset that I did it. So as long as I could force myself to get through it, then it's, you know, it works, you know? So that's it for me. I'm not fully on top of all this stuff to be able to give you, like, really good answers. Those are the answers that I have, though. All right. Next question is from Brendan, who says, I live in the Okanagan Valley. Sorry, I don't know how you say that. And it gets really hot here in summer, like 33 degrees centigrade. That is about 91 Fahrenheit. I always skate in sweatpants ever since I started skating 21 years ago. Should I try skating in shorts? I've never did that before, but I feel like I would get shinners because my legs would be more exposed. What are your thoughts? I am the same way. So when I first started skating, you know, when I had been skating for like months, you know, my friend made a kicker ramp, and we didn't expect to be able to, like, land it. We just put it in the dirt, like, you know, like from the driveway into some dirt. Right. And so I had got some speed. I hit the ramp, but I hit the ramp. I didn't get up it. I hit it. I tripped over. I skinned my knee on the top of the ramp and landed in the dirt. And I just, you know, went inside, dusted it off, put some gauze on it or whatever, and it got really infected. Like, it was bad. And I had on shorts. and it just led me to more opportunities to get hurt, so I definitely know what you're feeling. I in fact have an injury on my knee. I mean, it's small. I don't know if you can even see it, if the camera's going to adjust. Right there, I got hit by a scooter at the skate park. So yeah, like, you can get hurt worse in shorts, but you're not going to get heat stroke as easily. So it's tough. This is my first pair of shorts that I've bought in years. I have like swim trunks, and that's it. I just don't have shorts because I'm always going to skate in jeans for protection, especially, doing like a bunch of flatland stuff, doing freestyle. You will get your shins hurt often. If you're doing anything on the truck, like truck stand type stuff, the truck's just going to be like wedged against your shin half the time. So for me, I very rarely do it, but I did post an Instagram story where I did do a trick in shorts. Like, it can work. It's not going to be a disaster if you do it, most likely. So yeah, I mean, try it for a week and see if you get your shins ripped off or not. It should be possible. Also, I saw a video part from Diedrich Galasso, I think is how you say his name, and he had shorts and he did an amazing part. He survived it and he was doing really good tricks. So, it's something that can be done. I know it's not the most comfortable thing to try, though. Okay. Next question is from Jason, who says, I hope you are well. I wanted to ask the difference in body being stanceless versus doing all types of tricks with switch. Having trouble why Rodney Mullen took that route for advancement. So if you haven't seen that, he did a video where he's talking about like deconstructing stance to a point where it doesn't exist, which I think would be a great goal to have. The only problem is, like, even if you get to a point where something doesn't feel switch, you're at least having to learn tricks both ways, Like, you have to learn the scoop motion with both feet. You still have to learn a flick with both feet. You still have to learn like the heel flick with both feet. There's no way to not do that. But yeah, we talk about switch on this channel all the time, and it often seems like it's because of just like if you're typically going to face this way, you skate switch, you don't turn all the way this way. And this is what he's talking about. If you see someone do a switch trick, you can usually tell it's switch. Even if you see one trick, you're just scrolling through Instagram, you see one trick and it's a kickflip. You can usually tell that it's a switch flip. It's because he's kind of turned this way, kind of looking over the shoulder. Kickflip might look a little bit off, but if you could deconstruct switch or stance in general and just have it where instead of this being switch, you can just skate it as if you always skate that way. Like, learn what you're doing, learn the placement of your hips and your shoulders and all that stuff, so that switch is no longer acts like switch. And you could do the opposite. This is all in theory, but most people can do certain tricks switch that they can't do in their normal stance. Could you like do a normal trick, but you kind of act like it's switch, and then it's easier? Can you do a heel flip stuff easier normal if you pretend like it's switch? That stuff should be possible. It kind of makes sense on paper, but it's a really big move to make. It's a really like intense route to try to take in your skateboarding, to try to like remove stance from the equation. So yeah, I think that's what he was talking about when he did all that. But I don't know for sure. I don't know the guy. Next question is from Taufa, who says, what do you think of the SkaterXL modding community? The SkaterXL devs are passively trying to stop modding, although in my opinion it's a huge part of the game. I'll be honest about SkaterXL. I got terminally bored of that game because every time you sign in, and I play the game once every 4 months, and I'm just hoping there's something, and every now and then there's a new stage that you could skate, and it's always just fine. My problem with the game is that there's not enough tricks. They haven't added any tricks to it. So like, even if you get new spots, you're doing the same 10 things in a slightly different spot. And to me, it just gets super boring. So I've been hoping they're going to add in more tricks, and there are mods for that. But I have it on the PC, but I usually play it on the Xbox. And there are some mods that you can download that are like official. But yeah, like if they're not going to add in new tricks, or they're not going to like buy out the mod, like could they just like buy the mod and just make it an official part of the game? I don't know why they're not doing this stuff. I don't know why they're not doing anything with the game. One thing that they did though is they added in a multiplayer mode, which sounds kind of cool, right? So I was playing with my friend Tony, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna invite you to my game, and he appears in my world. We can skate around and see each other. That's it. It's not like we can do challenges together, because there aren't really challenges. There are kind of challenges where it's like a tutorial type thing, but that's not a 2-player thing. We can't play skate, but I was thinking like, hey, we could play a game of skate, just like you watch me do a trick and I'll watch you to see if you landed it, and we'll just keep track ourselves. Cool. So I do, or he does this trick. I'm like, hey, nice kick flip. And then he looks at me and he's like, that was a 360 flip. I didn't do a 360 flip. And we were trying to figure it out. We were working on it and like keeping track of all this stuff. Okay, I'm going to stand still for a long time. Wait until you see me here. Okay, then the first thing I'm going to do. The way that it works out, I invited him to my game. I could watch him, and I was seeing the stuff he was doing as he did it. He was seeing stuff I did a while ago. Like 10 seconds, I think, or so. So I'd be skating in like a half pipe or something like that. And he would be seeing like 3 tricks ago. You know, it was crazy. So it's like, well, what's the point of that? So like, I'm basically done with that game. I'll fire it up once every 6 months or so, and just hope that, you know, they really did something to it and turn it into a real game. But I don't know. I'm sick of it. I enjoyed it when it came out, but I think I've done everything I care to do in that game. The next question is from Elon Musk, who says, some time ago you answered a question relating to quantum mechanics, the multiverse, and Rodney Mullen. Now I want us to go back into that forbidden realm of possibility. You said some very interesting things back then and tried to imagine what skateboarding would look like without Mullen as we know him. So today I want to ask you, what if Tony Hawk never bothered to be a skater? What if instead he just became an epic badminton or croquet player instead? What if we never got the Pro Skater series? What would skateboarding look like in our current timeline? Just how much do you think things would change if the Birdman never left the nest? That's a tough one, because he has influenced things in a lot of different ways. You know, it's not just that he invented tricks. It's not just that he, was involved in the X Games and did the 900. It's not that he had a video game series. It's not that he has a charity foundation where he builds skate parks in places that can't afford to. It's not just that he sells NFTs. Although I'd happily wipe that off the timeline. So Tony Hawk invented over 100 tricks, like the 540, the no-handed one, not the big twist. A lot of those are combos, so like it's possible that somebody else would have done the same type of combo. So like someone could have stepped up, maybe Hosoi, Caballero, someone like that. They might have been able to fill in those gaps, come up with the same types of tricks that he did. The hurricane and the nose grind, like these things could potentially have come about through different skaters. But I think skateboarding would have taken a major hit in popularity. So like Tony Hawk was dominating the vert scene at the time. So like if the vert contests weren't as interesting because there wasn't as much competition, people weren't trying to catch up to Tony Hawk and stuff like that, would it have taken off as much? Would skateboarding has been as popular? If skateboarding wasn't as popular, would street skating have started? So that's like, people were skating in streets because they didn't have ramps. But what you would see is ramps. You would see people skating in ramps and at skate parks and stuff. And street was from people who didn't have that stuff, and they were trying to do moves out on the street. So like, if Tony Hawk was not around and skateboarding itself was less popular, would street have taken off? I'm sure it would still have existed. It still would have started, but would it have taken off? And if it did, it might have gotten a slower start. if skateboarding was less good, that could have meant, less sponsors, less X Games on TV, less eyeballs on skateboarding, meaning less people started skateboarding. Less people skate, the worse skateboarding gets, because people aren't pushing each other. You don't get that rare talent, that guy who really did all that super cool stuff. Well, he never started skating because he never saw the X Games as a kid. Like I mentioned, the Tony Hawk Foundation builds skate parks. He works with events as he used to do like at the X Games, he would be like the guy who was telling you what all the tricks were as the announcer. And no Tony Hawk games. Not just Tony Hawk games. There are a lot of games that are inspired by the Tony Hawk games that use, bikes and inline skates and stuff like that. Would those sports would have been worse off too if Tony Hawk didn't skate? I think probably so. But as far as the games, if there were no Tony Hawk games, if everything else was exactly the same, except no Tony Hawk games, there was maybe like Street Skater. You can see what that game looks like right here. Not a great game. It's okay, but it's like you're doing a timed race and you can just get more time by doing tricks, and the tricks are all nonsense. There's like 3 real tricks in the whole game. That game did not do all that well, and it was not very good. If that's all there was, I don't think the skateboarding genre would have taken off. And if the Tony Hawk games didn't come out, a lot of people wouldn't have skated, including me. It was Tony Hawk 2 that got me into skateboarding. So, if I didn't skate, who knows how many other people would not have started skating because of that. The skate series probably would not have happened. So I think skateboarding would be in a much, much worse place if Tony Hawk had not started skating. So I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that he's still out there. He just opened up a skate park next to my parents' house somewhere. It was in the news by them. So like, he's still out there doing stuff. He's still doing good for skateboarding. So it's a great thing that he's out there. But that is it for now. If you have any questions of your own, go to radratvideo.com and submit them with the form on the homepage. You can also hit the like button, which I always appreciate. You can hit the join button next to that if you want to get some special emojis that you can use in comments. You can sponsor me on Patreon as well, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.